Well, happening today, the fight to save Quinnipiac's women's rugby program is now moving from the field to the courtroom.
Players are suing after the university cut the team's varsity status. Your reporter Sierra Jordan is live in Hamden outside the university with the latest. Good morning.
Good morning. For months, players have been trying to save a three-time national championship program, and today they're hoping that a federal judge would stop Quinnipiac from downgrading women's rugby to a club sport. 23 current and incoming players filed the lawsuit. They argue Quinnipiac's decision to eliminate the team's varsity status violates Title IX, the federal law that prohibits sex discrimination in education programs and athletics. The dispute stems from an April announcement when the university said it would downgrade women's rugby to a club sport and add a men's varsity distance track team. Quinnipiac maintains the move helps support Title IX compliance and the university long-term athletic strategy. But the players say the decision breaks a 2013 federal court agreement that required the school to sponsor women's rugby as a varsity sport. The complaint also accuses the university of retaliation. It claims head coach Becky Clarkson repeatedly raised concerns about the treatment of female athletes before the program was cut. Olympic bronze medalist and Quinnipiac alum Alona Marr has also spoken out. If the judge grants emergency relief, Quinnipiac will be forced to keep women's rugby as a varsity sport, and that will see how that case plays out in court. We will be there today and bring you the latest developments both on air and the WFSB app. Your reporter live in Hamden, Sierra Jordan, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.